Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. And today on my series of DIY, we're going to be concentrating on windowsills and all the surroundings of the sill. You've got plenty of the areas you need to be concentrating on, but the main one is the bottom sill. So the first place we're going to be starting with is the sill. So let's have a look at what we need to be doing. So all this needs to be filled in with chalk. This is painter's chalk. And also to go up the sides as well. But a good place to start with first is definitely get these cleaned off well. Now I have actually previously washed this off, so it only wants a very fine sand on there. And also if you've got any areas like this, you want to be sanding that back, because obviously that looks like some damp's got in there. And you probably need to be using some damp proof paint on that. And also probably best to do that side as well. So that's what we need to be doing. So let's have a look at the tools we need. Pair of gloves, a knife, and your chalk. You don't have to use this brand, you can use whatever you like, but that's the one I'd recommend. And obviously you can. And this will come into its own. So you've got your cut off point, and all we're going to do is put that into this hole and just squeeze. Wedge it like this and just go like that. Now if you've got a little bit of edge one there, just take that off. And that's that simple. And once again, you do exactly the same along this piece as well. So that's it, it's all done. So we've done around the sill and the window with the chalk. So what's next for the sill? Very simple and easy. I guess we need some paint. And let's have a look at the tools and the paint we need. So there we go, what a nice little selection we got. Well, let's start off with, first and foremost, you would most likely would need this brand. This is Bin. Now this is really, really good for your sill, for your primer and your undercoat. Or you can actually go for this one. This is a straightforward Valspar Universal Primer and Undercoat, which is also a really good product and dries rapid. Now you have actually got a choice of two here. Now, just for instance, they're both basically a silk. So this is what you would normally use in the trade, this one. Now it is more watery than this one, and this one is aimed at the domestic market. Now for today, I'm going to be using this one because I've never used it before. It's the trade one. I just want to know what the trade one's like against this one. So I'm sort of seeing myself which is which. Also, you do need a roller, just a small roller. This is a 100mm roller. And this is a 5-inch paintbrush. A bit of sandpaper, 320 this is. It doesn't want to be too rough because this is between coats. And for washing your brushes out, if you're using this, you do need this and this because it doesn't like being washed up in water. All the rest of these products you can wash in water. Easy. So today it just happens that I've decided to do some painting and the sun is really, really bright. It would be better if it wasn't so bright. So I'm going to be starting off with this one. So I'm going to give them a good shake. And what I meant to say is we also need a damp cloth. That's dry. We'll get a damp one. So first we're going to be sanding off all the sills, just to get them so they're just nice. Now they should be really, really nice from the start. And I'll show you an example of what I mean. Now by rights, your sills should actually come like this. Nice. They shouldn't be grotty and grubby like the ones I've got over here. But unfortunately, that's what happens after tradesmen have been in. I always look after my stuff, but tradesmen. So I'm going to be starting over here on this window. So it is in bright sunlight. The rest of them are all right. So we'll start over here and you can see how I get on. So you do want a block and your bit of sandpaper. Just wrap it round and just sand it off. And then just wipe it off. So we'll give that sill around about 5 minutes to dry. Now I'm going to go and do the other ones. Right, we'll start off with our bin. Do make sure you're wearing your gloves. Very, very important. And just do your sill. So if you do have any areas at the side of the wall that needs doing, do that as well. You shouldn't have, but I have actually got damp problems up my wall. And don't forget your edge. Never mind too much if you've got lines in it, you'll get them out eventually with a bit of sandpaper. You can see it's almost dry already. So that's the priming done. So we're almost ready then for getting the next coat on. Now I can only tell after around about 18 minutes or so. And if I do need another coat, I'll just carry on doing it. But before you do that second priming coat, what you need to do is go over with it with a very, very fine bit of sandpaper. So I'll see you back in a bit when we're doing the next coat. Welcome back. Now earlier we chalked around the windows, then we sanded them back and cleaned them. Then we went round with the primer on the sills. So we're now down to the next part, the undercoat. Now first and foremost, what we'll do is check the paint, give it a good stir around, and that looks okay to me. So what we're going to be doing now, we'll get straight over to the sill, and what we'll do is give that a good sand down and wipe off ready. Because the important part with the sandpaper is it's like having two mirrors together rubbing like this. Now if you've got a rough edge and a soft edge, it'll stick. And that's all it's all about. You just need something to stick that paint on top of each other. Otherwise it'll just peel. So we're now down to the next part. So we'll get our tin of paint and we'll start painting. Right, we'll start from, once again, in the edges. You just want to get this into a nice stroke. You need to be moving yourself on this. The trouble with emulsion paint, it's not like oil based. Oil based is more forgiving. Water based stuff is not the same. If you try using this stuff in the warmth, don't even bother. It goes off so fast, it just makes it impossible to use. It don't look too bad. I think you'll agree. And this is just the undercoat. Well, there you go, folks. started this morning and we've done the chalking, then we've done the primer, and now we've just done the undercoat. So tomorrow I'm going to leave, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, I would definitely leave this a good 12 hours before doing anything else to it. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Welcome back, folks. Now, yesterday we did the undercoat, so that's had a good 12 hours to dry. So the next part, we're going to be sanding off and just giving it a nice bit of grip for the top layer. And obviously we're glossing next. So let's have a look and see what we're going to be using. A roller and a brush. Cool. And the paint. So without any ado, let's get on with it. We've sanded off all the sills and gave them a good dry down with a damp cloth. So that's all ready. So now we're going to get on to doing the glossing all together. So the best idea to get yourself a separate bucket. So you're going to put some paint straight into that bucket, and that's basically for your roller. It just makes it a little bit easier. And obviously your brush. That is actually for just sort of putting lines over it. Not literally. The brush is mainly for smoothing out, because you're going to roll it and then smooth it. But alternatively, if you just want to put on with a brush, put it on with a brush. It's fine. So we'll first start with our paint. So this is a brand new one. So it's been lying around on the shelf for a while. So it's best to give it a good stir up first. Normally, if being in the warehouse, I'd have got them to stir this up on the machine. In fact, it's not that bad actually feeling it. It is very much like the domestic one. I thought it'd be much more runnier than this. It's always the same as this type of paint. You've always got to give it a good stir. That's great. Use my brush. And remember, being it's water-based, you don't have to worry about anything really. So really the best way of getting that into there is using a ladle. Like this. You get less over the side of the metal tin. And I reckon for doing these windows, you probably only want about 5 of these. Maybe 6. Because what's left you can always put back in the tin. And remember, we'll be doing 2 coats. See, you've got no mess around the tin. I'm now going to show you how to use the roller on a windowsill. So first we're going to start with the edges. In fact, the best thing is to get the edge out the way. It's almost like doing the walls. Get your edge done first. And just get your roller, make sure it's well covered. Now you do want plenty of paint on your roller, and you just roll it on. This I think is much easier. It might look a bit speckledy to start with. And then just get your brush over the top and just run it across. And if you're lucky enough for me to pick a hair up, and always the same. And there we go. It's as simple as that. That's those 3 windows done, which is a great job. They've actually come out a lot better than I thought they would. And I've not used that paint before, so it'd be interesting to see the comparison. In fact, this flowed a lot better than the domestic one. So at the moment, I'm out on it. So we've got to leave that now 3 to 4 hours, then a light sand over and then a recoat, and then it's finished. So we left our sill yesterday with 1 coat. Now we're going to do the final coat. Now it's important for this particular coat, we do a good sanding down first. So if you've got any blemishes or anything in that paint, you need to get them out. So to give that final coat a really good finish. Then after you finish that, to get the almost perfection finish, now the question is, what would you need? You need one of these. This is a tack cloth, and this gets off any bits and pieces. So if you've got any dust or anything in the environment, this will just pick it up just before painting. Really good stuff. Obviously, this is it. It's actually, this particular one's a Body Shop one. But it doesn't matter, you can use any type. They're called tack cloths, so you know exactly what we're talking about. Now I've already sanded off the sills, so we'll just tack cloth them ready for painting. So we'll just tack off our sill. So we're now ready for the final coat. So let's go for it. And don't forget to wear your gloves. Just makes it easier for washing your hands. Even though it's washable paint, there's nothing like having proper gloves on. With your board, put it up the side, straight down the edge. Get your edges done. What you've missed. Straight up to the far end. And you can do the opposite way round. And on your edge. Wasn't that nice and easy? That sill looks really, really good to me. In fact, dare I say the words, it looks like a tradesman's been in, done it professionally, because that's exactly how they do it. They come in, they roll your sills, or they roll everything to make it nice and easy and speedy. Essentially, you can do it by a paintbrush if you want, but I've chosen to do it the trade way, just to show you guys. Anybody can do it with the brush. It does take a lot longer, and also you tend to get a lot more lines in it than you would do. Now this is going to take around about 7 to 10 days to cure. If you've got any problems with your sill, that is the time you can deal with it then. If you try to do it, now I've done it with the domestic paint before now. I've done 2 coats, and then the following day I've looked at it and said, no, I'm not liking that. Problems with it. And I've gone and tackled it then. And believe me, it's not good. And if you like this type of content, please subscribe and please share. And don't forget the playlists, because down there I've got playlists on DIY and painting and decorating. And the latest one I'm doing is how to fit floors and everything to do with flooring. Generally speaking, it's everything to do with flooring that's going in my kitchen. So just in case someone thinks I'm going to do the lounge and stuff, no, I don't do flooring in lounges. That's called carpet, and I'm not a carpet fitter, and I'm not even going to go there. And we'll see you very shortly on the Crazy Baker channel. Laters! This is the Crazy Baker Unleashed channel. Cars. Honest reviews. DIY. Toys. And behind the scenes of all the crap I buy. Old school memorabilia. Please subscribe and please share. Laters!